Fear is something every single one of us faces at some point in our lives. It's that tight knot in your stomach when you're about to take a risk. That quiet little voice in your head, whispering doubts when you're standing on the edge of something big, something meaningful. Most folks look at fear and see a stop sign, a flashing red light telling them to hit the brakes and turn back. But I'm here to tell you something different. Fear isn't your enemy. It's not a roadblock. It's your fuel. It's raw, untapped energy just waiting for you to harness it, to put it to work. The difference between those who succeed and those who stall out isn't that the successful ones never feel fear. It's that they've learned what to do with it. Today I'm going to walk you through, step by step, how to take that fear, turn it upside down, and use it to propel you straight toward your goals. Let's start by getting one thing crystal clear. Fear isn't a flaw in your character. It's not a sign that you're weak or broken. It's a signal. It's your mind and your body sending you a message that something matters deeply to you. If you didn't care about the outcome, if it wasn't important, you wouldn't feel that tension, that shiver, that quickening of your pulse. So the very first step to turning fear into fuel is to recognize it for exactly what it is, a sign that you're stepping into something significant, something worth your time and effort. When you feel that shiver running down your spine, don't turn tail and run from it. Pause right there and ask yourself some questions. What's at stake here? What's the opportunity waiting on the other side of this moment? Fear is like a spotlight. It shines a bright beam on what's important in your life. Your job is to look straight into that light and make a deliberate choice to move toward it, not away from it. Now, once you've recognized fear as a signal, the next thing you've got to do is redefine it completely. Too many people let fear define who they are and what they can do. They say to themselves, I'm afraid, so that means I can't. But you've got to flip that script entirely. Fear doesn't mean you can't do something. It just means you haven't done it yet. It's not a solid brick wall standing in your way, it's a hurdle. And hurdles, my friend, are made to be jumped over. Start telling yourself a new story about fear. Tell yourself that it's excitement wearing a disguise. Think about it. Physiologically, fear and excitement are mighty close cousins. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, your senses sharpen up. The only difference between the two is what's happening in your head. Train your mind to see fear as the adrenaline rush that comes right before a big victory, not the warning bell sounding before a fall. When you redefine fear as a positive force, you strip away its power to freeze you in your tracks and hand it the power to push you forward instead. Let's talk about action now, because that's where the rubber meets the road, where the real work happens. Fear loves nothing more than to keep you stuck in the planning stage, spinning your wheels, overthinking every little detail until you're too exhausted to even start. The antidote to that trap is simple, but it's not always easy. Do something, anything at all. Take one single step. You don't have to see the whole staircase stretching out in front of you to take that first step, and you don't have to conquer fear in one giant leap to start winning the battle. Action has a way of shrinking fear down to size. It's like turning on a light in a pitch-dark room. The shadows don't vanish all at once, but they get smaller and less intimidating with every move you make. Pick one task, maybe it's a phone call you've been dreading, or one small risk you've been avoiding, and do it. Then pick the next one, and do that too. Momentum is fear's worst enemy, and action is the tool you use to build that momentum, step by step. Another critical key to turning fear into fuel is preparation. Fear grows big and ugly in the cracks of uncertainty. When you don't know what you're doing, when you're unsure of your next move, fear swoops in and fills those gaps with all kinds of worst-case scenarios. But when you've done your homework, when you've practiced your craft, when you've put in the time and effort to get ready, you shrink those cracks down to nothing. Preparation doesn't wipe fear off the map, nothing will ever do that, but it gives you a solid foundation of confidence to lean on when fear starts chattering in your ear. If you're scared to speak in public, practice your talk over and over until you can recite it in your sleep. If you're afraid of failing a test, study that material until you know it inside and out. Preparation takes fear from a roaring lion that's ready to pounce and turns it into a manageable kitten you can handle. It's not about being fearless, it's about being ready, about knowing you've got what it takes. Let's not kid ourselves here. Fear can be loud. It can scream at you with a whole chorus of what ifs. What if I fail miserably? What if I look like a fool in front of everyone? What if I lose everything I've worked for? Here's how you quiet that noise down. Focus on the what ifs that actually matter. What if you succeed beyond your wildest dreams? What if this moment right here is the breakthrough you've been waiting for all this time? What if this fear is the last obstacle standing between you and the life you've always wanted? Fear wants you to keep your eyes glued to the ground, staring at every pebble and pitfall. You've got to train yourself to lift your head and look up at the horizon instead. Keep your focus locked on the prize, not the problem. When you shift your attention from what could go wrong to what could go right, fear starts losing its grip on you, little by little. One truth I've come to understand over the years is that fear feeds on isolation. When you bottle it up inside, when you keep it locked away in the dark corners of your mind, it grows bigger and stronger. But when you let it out, when you share it with someone, it weakens. Find somebody you trust, a good friend, a wise mentor, a reliable teammate, and talk about what's scaring you. Say it out loud, put words to it. You'll be amazed at how much smaller it feels once it's out in the open air. Better yet, surround yourself with people who face their own fears and come out victorious on the other side. Their courage is contagious, it rubs off on you. They'll remind you that fear isn't a dead end, it's just a detour on the road to success. And sometimes they'll give you that gentle nudge, or maybe a firm push. You need to take that first step forward. Now let's tackle failure head on, because that's the big club. Fear loves to swing at you. Here's the plain truth, you might fail. No, scratch that. You will fail at some point. If you're pushing yourself hard, if you're reaching for something worth having, you're going to stumble somewhere along the way. But failure isn't the opposite of success. Quitting is. Fear wants you to believe that failure is the end of your story, but it's not. It's just one chapter, one page in a much bigger book. Every time you fall down and haul yourself back up, you prove to fear that it doesn't own you. You take that stumble and turn it into a stepping stone. Use it as a lesson. Learn from it. Let it fuel your next attempt. The most successful people walking this earth aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who never let failure stop them cold. Another way to turn fear into fuel is to break it down into pieces. Fear loves to loom large over you, like a giant shadow cast on the wall, making you feel small and helpless. But when you dissect it, when you take it apart and look at it piece by piece, it's not nearly as big as it seems. Ask yourself this: what's the absolute worst thing that could happen? Then follow it up with, can I handle that? 9 times out of 10, the answer is a resounding yes, and even if it's a no, you can sit down and figure out what you'd need to handle it, then get to work making it happen. Fear thrives on vagueness, on keeping things fuzzy and unclear. Specificity starves it out. Break it down into manageable parts, and suddenly it's not a towering monster anymore. It's just a checklist you can tackle one item at a time. Let's take a moment to talk about time, because fear has a sneaky way of making you think you've got to solve it all right this second, but you don't. Sometimes the smartest way to turn fear into fuel is to give yourself permission to take it slow, to pace yourself. Not every battle is won in a single day, and not every fear is conquered in one fell swoop. If you're afraid of a big daunting goal, don't try to eat the whole elephant in one bite. Take it one small nibble at a time. Set yourself some small milestones along the way. Celebrate every little win, no matter how tiny it seems. Each one chips away at fear's foundation, weakens its hold. Patience turns fear from a frantic sprint into a steady marathon, and here's the good news: you've got more endurance than fear does. One of the most powerful tools in your arsenal is belief. Fear wants you to doubt yourself, your abilities, your worth, your potential. Don't you dare let it. Build yourself a rock-solid foundation of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your purpose, faith in something bigger than you. When you truly believe you're here for a reason, when you know deep down that you've got a mission to fulfill, fear can't shake you as easily. Take a minute to remind yourself of what you've already overcome in your life. You've faced fear before and come through it, maybe even come out stronger. That's not luck or chance, that's proof positive. You've got what it takes inside you. Fear is just testing you to see if you know it, to see if you'll stand up and claim it. Finally, here's a big one: turn fear into fuel, by making it your teacher. Every single time you feel that fear creeping in, stop and ask yourself, what's this trying to show me right now? Maybe it's pointing out a weakness you need to shore up. Maybe it's highlighting a risk you need to think through a little more carefully. Maybe it's just reminding you that you're human, that you're alive and growing. Fear isn't here to destroy you, it's here to sharpen you, to refine you. Listen to what it's saying, learn the lesson it's offering, then leave it behind you. The more you face it head on, the more you'll see that it's not a barrier blocking your path. It's a forge, shaping you into someone stronger, someone better, someone ready for whatever comes next. So here's the bottom line, plain and simple: fear isn't going away. It's part of the package deal of being alive, of chasing dreams, of stretching yourself to grow. But you don't have to let it sit in the driver's seat. Put it in the passenger seat where it belongs. Let it ride along if it must, but you take the wheel and steer the course. Use it to wake you up in the morning, to fire you up for the challenge, to keep you moving up toward your goals. Fear is fuel. It's pure energy waiting for you to give it direction. Give it a purpose. Point it straight toward what you want most in life, and then watch how far it can take you. You've got everything you need inside you to turn fear from a foe into a friend. Everything you need to win. Start today. Take that first step, no matter how small. The only thing you've got to fear is not trying at all.